Live, local, late breaking. This is WNBF News at 5.
Conway Medical Center, more than 2 weeks into Phase 1A distribution of coronavirus vaccines, but investigative reporter Madison Martin tells us the hospital is looking to move along to the next phase. What that hospital was waiting on before receiving the green light.
A bill looking to increase her COVID-19 stimulus check is one step closer to becoming official. Where the fate of the bill rests now.
Here's a clear view from our tin roof sky cam as the temperatures slowly start to drop. But look how beautiful that picture is. And First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold tells us you can expect a nice rebound in your certified most accurate forecast. Jamie?
Yeah, we are going to turn chilly here as we head into the overnight hours tonight. Big bright moon overhead tonight, called the cold moon here for obvious reasons. It is going to be a big full moon here overnight tonight, and those temperatures certainly going to be a bit on the cold side as we return back into the 30s overnight tonight. Mid-30s here across the beaches with 36 in Myrtle Beach and Myrtle's Inlet, 35 in North Myrtle, 34 in Conway, and then down around the freezing mark or even just below. Here as we take you into the PD, 32 tonight in Florence, 31 for Bennettsville, 30 in Laurinburg. But then we started to see a warm up, at least for some of us, heading into the day tomorrow. Kind of a surge of milder weather pushes temperatures along the Grand Strand at or even just above the 60-degree mark. But the cool weather kind of holds on a bit here, especially once you get into the PD north and west of I-95. Notice those temperatures tomorrow stuck in the 50s. Something else you're going to notice tomorrow, the clouds beginning to thicken up. Those clouds thickening up out ahead of our rainmaker that arrives just in time for the start of 2021. I'll take a closer look at those rain chances and that risk of maybe some New Year's Day thunderstorms coming up.
South Carolina remains in Phase 1A of the vaccine rollout, which includes frontline healthcare workers and those in long-term care facilities. But WNBF Investigates reporter Madison Martin found out one hospital is already asking when it can start on the next phase. So, Madison, what have you learned?
Yeah, Eric, Conway Medical Center was the first hospital here in our area to receive and administer Pfizer's vaccine. They've continued to receive doses from the state, almost 4,000 doses now as of today. And they say they're eager to help get the vaccine to as many people as they can. CMC tells me they've administered over 1,100 doses of Pfizer's vaccine so far. It's not only for their staff working there on the front lines. They've been reaching funeral service providers, dentist offices, first responders. CMC says with all of this vaccine, they've asked for more guidance from DHEC on when they can move forward to the next phase, Phase 1B. Now, the CDC's advisory committee voted on who would be in Phase 1B the weekend before Christmas. CMC says DHEC told them they still need to review that.
The word we got from them was that their advisory committee is supposed to meet next week to review ACIP's guidance, and that they'll get back to us as soon as they have additional guidance from us of when we can move to Phase 1B. And we're ready and excited to move when they finally give us the green light.
And we're following up with DHEC on the question of whether or not particular parts of the state could move forward with the next phase before others. We'll bring you that information when it becomes available. In the studio, Madison Martin, WNBF Investigates.
All right, Madison, we've also heard from several other local hospitals regarding the amount of vaccination administered by staff. Tideland's health officials say they've received close to 1,500 doses. So far, have administered 800 of those. Grand Strand Health has used more than 1,300 doses on colleagues, medical staff, and first responders. They're expected to start a clinic to provide second doses Saturday morning for those who first received the shot December 17th, as well as administering first doses for colleagues and other Tier 1 individuals who have not yet received it. COVID-19 vaccine also now available to some first responders in the PD. Florence County EMS has some protection in addition to PPEs, as a handful of paramedics have received the first dosage. Nearly 10 more are scheduled to receive the vaccine over the next few weeks. A deal was negotiated with the EMS department's employee clinic at McLeod Hospital to provide those doses. WNBF News reporter Cameron Crowe joins us at 6 o'clock with more details on that partnership.
The South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control provided an update to the state's distribution of COVID-19 vaccines. Right now, the state remains in Phase 1A. DHEC officials also say as of today, we've received over 112,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine. Over 31,000 of those have been administered. The state also received 84,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine yesterday through the CDC's long-term care program. This program works with CVS and Walgreens pharmacies to provide vaccines to states' long-term care facilities. DHEC also announced over 2,200 new cases of the coronavirus today, along with 22 more people who have died. This brings the total number of confirmed cases in our state since the start of this pandemic to over 277,000 and over 4,800 people who have died. Today's numbers include 137 new cases in Horry County, 82 new cases in Florence County, and 32 new cases in Georgetown County. DHEC announcing the percent positive is 27.1%.
TSA officials say airports saw a record number of travelers Sunday since the pandemic began, with nearly 1.3 million travelers being screened at airports across the country. It's a trend that held true in the Midlands. Columbia Metropolitan Airport officials say they also experienced a record week of travelers since the pandemic began, about 6,000 travelers last week. Department of Transportation officials report there were only 13% fewer cars on the road than what they saw Christmas week in 2019. University of South Carolina School of Public Health biostatistician Stella Self says she's worried about what the increased travel and holiday activities will mean for the outbreak in South Carolina.
I'm very concerned about what's going to happen after Christmas and New Year's, particularly because of the timing between those two holidays. So Thanksgiving is kind of a once and done holiday, but Christmas and New Year's, again, are spaced out by about a week. We know the median incubation time for COVID-19 is about 5 days.
The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease Director, Dr. Anthony Fauci, warning January could reach new records for the COVID-19 outbreak. He also stressed the U.S. is not where he hoped it would be in terms of the number of people being vaccinated so far across the country. The CDC reported just over 2 million people have received the vaccine. That's as of Monday morning. Ahead of any New Year's celebrations, Governor Henry McMaster is reminding you of restrictions in place to protect against COVID-19. In a statement, he says, quote, there are indications that folks may be letting their guard down as it relates to large gatherings. As a reminder, with New Year's Eve approaching, attendance at indoor or outdoor events may not exceed 250 persons or 50% of the certificate of occupancy issued by the fire marshal unless reviewed and approved in advance by the Department of Commerce.
DHEC is providing you with several chances to get a free COVID test in our area. That's ahead of New Year's Eve festivities. There's 2 separate testing locations available tomorrow. You can either go to the Rock Church in Conway or the King Street Recreation Department from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. On Thursday, testing is available at the Choppy Recreation Center in Georgetown, as well as the Eloise Grice Recreation Center in Marion, also from 10 to 2. If that doesn't work either, you can stop by your local health department for a test until Thursday afternoon. We have those locations available for you on WNBFnews.com. Horry County Police say 2 more people are charged in connection to a shooting last month in the Conway area. Cordell Rush and Aaron Hardy are both charged with 2 counts of attempted murder. Officers were called last month to Golden Key Road, where they said 5 people were hurt in connection to that shooting. Dustin Wilson previously had been arrested in this case. He also faces 2 counts of attempted murder. All 3 men have bonded out of jail. Right now, police have not said what led up to those shootings.
The man charged in an Horry County double homicide is accused of sexually assaulting a teenage girl at gunpoint. Arrest warrants allege Antonio Long forced a 17-year-old to have sex at gunpoint around the same time police say he committed the double murders. The warrants also allege Long forced the girl into a car following the alleged assault, drove her out of state before letting her out of the vehicle. Police say the homicide victims were found at a home last week on Pappas Bay Road in Loris. Horry County Police say officers were initially called to the home for a welfare check. The victims were identified as Marilyn Haywood and her son, Kevonta Hills. Warrants show Haywood was Long's girlfriend, whom he lived with. Long is charged with 2 counts of murder, as well as a count each of kidnapping and first-degree criminal sexual conduct.
Police confirmed they arrested a suspect in connection to a shooting early yesterday morning at a Myrtle Beach hotel. Myrtle Beach police say Dan Clary is facing several charges, including attempted murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. We're told officers were called to the Coral Sands Motel on North Ocean Boulevard around 1:20 yesterday morning. The victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Clardy is currently being held at the Myrtle Beach jail.
Police say a suspect is being held behind bars under a $1 million bond following a shooting yesterday morning in Laurinburg. Authorities say two victims told them they were in their vehicle on Willow Drive when the suspect, James Jones, drove by and began shooting. Authorities say the victim's vehicle was hit several times. No injuries reported. Jones was arrested at his home yesterday evening. He's facing several charges, including 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder. He's being held at the Scotland County Detention Center.
South Carolina Highway Patrol says the man on your screen is charged in a deadly crash that killed 1 person and left 3 others hurt in Darlington County. Jacob Beasley was arrested for felony driving under the influence resulting in death. Troopers say December 13th, Beasley was driving a Ford pickup on Highway 403 near Weaver Street when he ran off the road and overturned. The coroner said William Fontaine died in that crash.
So are you ready to ring in the new year? Well, it's no surprise the pandemic's causing many of you to change up your holiday plans. Zach Wilcox with how the Southern Times Square celebration organizers are gearing up for New Year's Eve while keeping COVID precautions in place.
Now, the certified most accurate forecast from First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold.
Well, clear skies this evening and the full moon rising above the horizon here across the Grand Strand. As I mentioned at the top of the newscast, that is called the cold moon for obvious reasons. Here we are in the coldest time of the year, and it does get pretty chilly as we head through the overnight hours tonight into tomorrow morning. We'll start off the day Wednesday with temperatures into the 30s. Mid-30s here across the Grand Strand, but then climbing pretty nicely and fairly quickly, especially late in the day, into the lower 60s, but we're going to start to see some changes taking place. Skies turn mostly cloudy and eventually overcast by the second half of the day tomorrow. And as we head towards the late afternoon into the evening, could even be a sprinkle or light shower that develops, and that is the start of a fairly prolonged stretch of unsettled weather that takes us through the new year and into the upcoming weekends. Let's walk you through it here, starting off with New Year's Eve, Thursday morning. Likely a couple of scattered showers around. Some of those scattered showers continue as we head towards Thursday afternoon and even Thursday night. For the stroke of midnight, could be a couple of showers, but also very mild. And then as we head into New Year's Day, again, a lingering chance for some scattered showers. And by late into the afternoon, into the evening, could even be some thunderstorms that try to approach from the west. Thankfully, the severe weather threat not looking quite as impressive. It's not out of the picture just yet. But overall, the system looks to be a lot weaker than the one we had to deal with on Christmas Eve. Still, though, enough energy in the atmosphere that we'll keep an eye on any of those storms that develop late in the day on Friday. So that forecast for New Year's, again, 40% chance of rain for New Year's Eve. Temperatures into the upper 60s to near 70. Couple of pop-up showers at the stroke of midnight. Temperatures very warm into the low 60s. And then that risk for a couple more showers and perhaps even a storm late in the day on New Year's Day. But look at those temperatures all the way up there at 70 degrees. Now, as far as that forecast for tomorrow goes, there's those chilly temperatures into the 30s in the morning, but also notice those clouds thickening up as we head through late morning into midday, turning mostly cloudy. We'll be to the upper 40s to low 50s through lunchtime, but then notice that surge of onshore wind pushing temperatures into the low 60s on the beaches, but kind of stuck in the 50s here for the PD. And there's 1 or 2 of those isolated showers that try to move in late in the day. Then your Myrtle Beach 7-day forecast showing the unsettled weather through the New Year's holiday, but very warm, upper 60s to near 70. Another system brings us an opportunity for rain early Saturday, then again late Saturday into Saturday night. And then we start to cool off back a little bit closer to normal for early next week. And as we head back through the rest of next week, fairly seasonable with temperatures in the 50s. Florence into the PD, 54 tomorrow, but upper 60s to low 70s. New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. Pop-up showers, a couple of thunderstorms will be possible, and we'll keep it fairly mild and unsettled heading through the weekend.
As vaccines are being rolled out, there's chatter among different demographics who say they simply will not get the vaccine. For some, it's how fast the vaccine was created. For others, it may be a slew of reasons. However, for the Black community, they say it gets more complex. For instance, Johns Hopkins Medicine using Henrietta Lacks cells when she died in 1951 to continue making medical strides without informing her family. Those cells are still used today. And then there's the Tuskegee study, which experimented on black men for decades, resulting in death before it became public knowledge. All of this creating a space where 35% of black Americans say they probably or will not get the COVID-19 vaccine due to lack of trust in the government.
Do you believe the concerns that white people have are valid concerns?
I definitely do. I definitely do believe that they're valid. But again, it's one thing for it to be valid. It's another thing to say we're talking about life or death in a lot of situations.
WNBF News Today anchor Darion Henderson sat down in an exclusive interview with Dr. Winston McIver Jr. of Waccamaw Care in Conway. He takes a deeper look into the distrust within the black community, the COVID-19 vaccine, and his connection to the aftermath of the Tuskegee study. Don't miss it as we trace the seeds of distrust tonight on WNBF News at 6.
The fate of a potential boost to COVID-19 stimulus checks now falls to the Senate. The House passed the increase to individual payments from $600 to $2,000 last night. Nadia Romero has more now from the nation's capital.
President Trump continuing his vacation in Florida, golfing Tuesday morning and taking to Twitter to call on the Senate to increase stimulus checks, something the House agreed to on Monday.
2/3 being in the affirmative, the bill is passed.
Now the bill is in the Senate. It's a risky position for Senate Republicans who don't want to disagree with the president and don't want the COVID bill to top $1 trillion. But Democrats are all on board with the increase.
$2,000 stimulus checks could mean the difference between American families having groceries for a few extra weeks or going hungry. The difference between paying the rent or being kicked out of your home that you've lived in for years.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer tried to get the bill passed by unanimous consent, but
is there objection to the modification?
Object.
The move was blocked by Mitch McConnell. The legislation could be voted on later if the Senate Majority Leader chooses. Now, all eyes on how Republicans will respond.
Do Senate Republicans join with the rest of America in supporting $2,000 checks?
How Senate Republicans vote on the measure
Hello, DeKalb County.
could have big implications on the pending Georgia Senate runoff elections 1 week away.
God bless you guys for being out here.
Both Republican Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler support the increase and have been touting the stimulus deal on the campaign trail.
Well, I've said I support it. Look, we have to provide relief to Americans.
From Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster is reminding people to stay cautious with New Year's Eve celebrations. He tweeted that New Year's Eve celebrations cannot have more than 250 people gathered or 50% of the occupancy. WNBF's Zach Wilcox joins us live from Market Common in Myrtle Beach, which usually has one of the largest New Year's Eve celebrations in the area. And Zach, how has the pandemic impacted the Southern Times Square celebration?
Hey there, Meredith. Good evening. Well, you can see behind me, they're starting to set up for that Southern Times Square celebration. There's a couple of tents out there and a stage, so still ways to go before the New Year's celebration, but a good look at what they've got going so far. Now, event coordinators say they usually expect more than 10,000 people at this event in a typical year. And of course, that's a lot more than the 250 that the governor mentioned in his tweet. The Market Common did get approval for a few more than that from the Department of Commerce, given how large this area is. Only 1,000 people can attend the event this year, though. That's only about 10% the size of a typical year. Marketing coordinator Caitlin Buffkin says that's the number the fire marshal said would be appropriate to allow for social distancing. There will also be hand sanitizing stations and the expectation to wear a mask when social distancing is impossible. Now, to monitor the number of people, this year event organizers are requiring tickets for the first time. Coordinators decided the best way to do that would be to have people present a receipt for a $25 or more purchase at a Market Common business in exchange for a ticket.
We thought in order to ticket the event, it might be best to boost the sales of the retailers and restaurants who have been here throughout the pandemic and who we hope that they continue to stay here throughout 2021.
Buffkin says they've had a few questions about this. Vendors and restaurants will stop selling alcohol at 11 per the mandate, but the fireworks and the ball drop will still be at midnight because that is, after all, New Year's time. In Myrtle Beach, Zach Wilcox, WNBF News.
One area organization looking for volunteers to help people in Horry County file taxes free. How you can help, what you need if you plan to get your taxes filed as well. Keep it here. United Way of Horry County is training volunteers to receive IRS tax certification to help file taxes free.
WNBF News reporter Kate Merriman explains how you can become a volunteer. It's really simple. All you have to do is go to United Way Horry's website and you'll find this. It's the VITA interest form. And right now, United Way is looking for 3 types of volunteers. They need greeters, screeners, and tax preparers. And if you choose to be a tax preparer, that is when you will receive the IRS tax certification.
Some people can't afford to get their taxes filed, or they don't know how, or they've been misled before. And so having all these volunteers come out and help ensures that people are able to file their taxes on time and get back that money that they might need after the holidays.
The Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, known as VITA, helps people who make $56,000 or less annually. United Way says eligible people can receive free tax preparation and electronic filing services. Now, typically those who participate in the program would work with the tax preparer face to face, but this year, to help limit contact between one another, it will be a drop-off style. If you choose to file with United Way of Horry County, you'll need your ID, your Social Security, and your W-2. Now, it's important to note, if you filed unemployment this year, you will have to file that on your taxes, so you need to have proof of that as well. In Conway, Kate Merriman, WNBF News.
All right, clear skies here. If you're going to be heading out this evening, temperatures a little bit cooler, starting to drop off pretty quickly now, sitting at 54 degrees. And as we work our way through the night, we'll eventually drop our way down to the 40s. The big forecast headlines, though, focus on the New Year's holiday. Yes, clouds begin to thicken up tomorrow, but temperatures start to warm up. Then we really start to warm up as we head through New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, and also bringing in those rain chances here as we start off 2021. So that forecast here as we round out the rest of the work week, bringing in thickening clouds tomorrow with an outside chance of a shower late in the day, low 60s, but notice upper 60s to 70 Thursday into Friday. Also notice those rain chances continuing to creep up, and some of that unsettled weather going to mean some of that rain sticks around at times as we head through the first full weekend of 2021.
Ahead on WNBF News at 6, concerns regarding the virtual program for Horry County schools, the frustrations one parent is going through. That's after Inside Edition.